It's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Today we're in San Diego. We're joined by Joe Mosca. He is a councilman in the city of Encinitas in the north section of San Diego County. And like all cities up and down the state, you were trying to figure out what to do about the fact that the voters passed marijuana in terms of recreational use.
Right.
Let's go back. We know in 1996, I think it was, the voters passed Prop 215 dealing with medical marijuana. Has Encinitas allowed medical marijuana dispensaries?
Right. Well, thank you, Brad, for having me on your show today. No.
No.
When Prop 215 passed, medical marijuana, use of marijuana, Encinitas did not allow for dispensaries in town. The question of mobile dispensaries actually is still on the table. The city of Encinitas never banned it, never actually took any decision on it.
So how has that played out? Because Encinitas is next to a lot of municipalities. In that part of San Diego County, there's little cities on top of each other.
Right.
And so are there sister cities that allow medical marijuana?
None that I know of.
Okay.
In fact, with Prop 64, so now we're looking at the Adult Use of Marijuana Act, which just passed in November of 2016. Many of the cities in the surrounding areas have banned all use of adult use. So from Solana Beach to Carlsbad. The city of Encinitas is looking at cultivation right now. We've had a conversation about marijuana, and it appears based on the conversation, we haven't had any votes, but it appears based on the conversations, the city council is not in favor of storefronts or other dispensaries or even manufacturing. But they did decide to form a subcommittee, and they selected myself and the deputy mayor.
Lucky you.
Yes, and we have a lot of folks that are very interested on either side of this issue.
Well, let's talk about the two elements. You have the cultivation element and the sale element. In terms of cultivation, there are two ways to look at it, indoor and outdoor.
Right.
You know, there are some cities, I know Adelanto, for example, in the high desert, they've become the poster child for creating a tremendous new business. They're allowing indoor cultivation, I know for sure, I'm not sure about outdoor, charging big old fees, you know, to just apply for a permit. It's helping them immensely. What do you make of the cultivation side?
Well, I mean, that is a strong argument. There are some people that focus on the tax revenue, the revenue that it would bring into the city, and certainly some of the farms that have come forward. We do have farmland, agriculture land in Encinitas, and legacy farms that have been around for a while. In fact, one of the farms is famous for having created the poinsettia. And we even have the poinsettia on the city seal. So legacy farms in the city. And certainly some of the farms are looking at it from sustainability and revenue stream. For me personally, as a policymaker, I'm looking at it from the point of view, does it fit into the city?
Does it?
Well, this is a question that I'm looking at, and the subcommittee is looking at. The people of Encinitas voted in favor of Prop 64 by 65%, the largest margin in San Diego County. And so it wouldn't be a good thing for, I think, policymakers to not at least look at it and have a good discussion about it. So that's what we're doing right now.
So let's talk about the sale side then, because cultivation brings up certain questions, sale brings up another. Like you said, with 65% of the voters saying yes, I mean, that's a big number. I think, you know, the state overall only passed at 57%. That's also a big number. But still, I mean, you know, you pass the state by 8 points. So it seems like your voters have spoken pretty clearly.
Right. I think in terms of sales, I don't believe, now we haven't voted on this, but I don't believe the city council is going to be in favor of storefronts or even dispensaries in town. And I think that if you looked at Prop 64 in terms of, you know, if you tried to think about what were the voters, and specifically in Encinitas, thinking about, I don't believe that they were thinking that they wanted to have storefronts in the city. I do think that
we sell alcohol in the city. So, you know, in some ways, what's the difference? I mean, they're both intoxicating substances. And one could argue, sir, that if someone's going to consume an intoxicating substance, alcohol can be much more damaging. Look, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But from what I know, you know, you smoke marijuana and just marijuana, you probably eat and fall asleep. You know, you drink some alcohol and, you know, you get crazy, you get in a car and... Talk me through it.
Well, no, I think those are all good points, and we have a subcommittee that's looking at all those aspects of Prop 64, and we're receiving a lot of public comment that is giving us kind of insight into sales and manufacturing and all the different aspects of marijuana. But I think with respect to sales, storefronts, I don't believe that it fits into the city of Encinitas. And I'm not sure that the voters, when they voted in support of Prop 64, that they were thinking that storefronts were going to, I think they were thinking that probably it should not be criminalized, that we should not be locking up people, we should not be criminalizing this act.
But here's a concern. People will want to acquire marijuana somehow.
Right.
And if you're not selling it in Encinitas, you're driving somewhere to get it. Now, again, I may be contradicting myself, but I don't necessarily want someone driving, consuming, smoking, eating, and then driving back home.
Right.
Be it alcohol or marijuana.
Right.
And so, are you being wise? And I know no decision's made, and I'm not trying to go after you, but is one being wise? Are you cutting off your nose to spite your face by not allowing at least one storefront in the city?
Right. No, I understand that, and I think that the regulations are just starting to kind of evolve in the state level, and a lot of the cities in the surrounding areas are just starting to look at where can they regulate, and I think that's something that has to be looked at. Certainly, driving while under the influence of marijuana or any substance should not be tolerated and accepted. So those are things that need to be looked at in the future.
And then there's the revenue question, because under Prop 64, municipalities can provide their own revenue stream based upon marijuana sales. I mean, there's the sales tax element just to start, but you could tack on another tax. Now, some would say there are too many taxes, and that could drive up the price and create black market. But look, if your friends in, I don't know, Carlsbad are going to allow it, why shouldn't Encinitas get some of that money?
Right, and I do think that's an issue that some folks are focused on. I'm not particularly focused on it, although I would say, with the exception of how Prop 64 is written, if you ban all aspects of marijuana within your community, and understand that there are some things that we cannot regulate under the law, that even individuals are allowed to have so many cannabis plants themselves, although we can regulate where they can have them, inside or outside of their home. If you ban it altogether, then you don't, as a city, participate in some of the revenue that's generated statewide to help, such as some of the public impacts of marijuana. So that is something I am interested in. I'm not necessarily interested in generating revenue. I don't believe that we should be looking at it from a generating revenue, though there are some people that feel that that's a justification.
So what are your residents saying to you? Encinitas is known to be an active city. People voice their opinions. What are they saying?
It's really mixed.
It is.
And it's a continuation. It's not necessarily, so the subcommittee's focused on cultivation, but when we have these public meetings where we have 2 hours of public discourse and comment, it's not necessarily focused on cultivation, but it's a rehash of the entire Prop 64 discussion. So it's kind of split. Though I would say that there are more people in favor of marijuana than are opposed to it.
In favor of marijuana sales inside city limits?
So in favor of marijuana.
Generally speaking.
Right. And but so then generally the comments are more about, should we allow marijuana, shouldn't we allow? But that's a question that's already resolved by the voters of California.
His name is Joe Mosca. He is a councilman in the city of Encinitas in beautiful North San Diego County. We are in San Diego today. My name is Brad Pomerance. I'm so glad you're with us on Local Edition.